The library was Noah's second home, a cathedral of quiet anxiety, filled with the scent of old paper and desperation. It was midterm season, and every carrel was occupied by a student hunched over textbooks, their faces illuminated by the harsh glow of laptop screens. Noah, buried in a mountain of biology notes, felt the familiar knot of panic tightening in his stomach. Organic chemistry was a language he couldn't quite fluent, no matter how many hours he spent trying to decipher it. He needed a break or his brain was going to short-circuit. Gathering his empty water bottle and a sense of defeat, he trudged towards the vending machines in the library's basement lounge. It was a quieter, less frequented area, with a few worn-out sofas and a single flickering fluorescent light. That's when he saw him. A guy with sun-kissed, messy brown hair was sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by a constellation of art postcards and open books. He wasn't frantically scribbling like everyone else. He was carefully sketching in a large pad, his brow furrowed in concentration. It was Adam from his Art History 101 lecture. Noah always noticed him because he was the one who asked interesting questions, the one who seemed genuinely excited about Baroque frescoes while everyone else was just counting down the minutes. Noah got his water and was about to slip away when Adam looked up. His eyes, a warm shade of hazel, crinkled at the corners as he smiled. Drowning in textbooks, too? Noah blinked, surprised to be addressed. Yeah, biology. It's a lot. Tell me about it, Adam said, gesturing to his own chaotic spread. I have a 5,000-word essay on neoclassical influences, and my brain has decided to now focus on perfecting my shading technique. Priorities, right? He laughed, a light, easy sound that felt out of place in the tense library air. Noah managed a small smile. At least shading is a useful skill. Debatable, Adam chuckled. He pointed to an empty spot on the carpet, beside him. There's room on the island of misfit studiers if you want. It's less depressing than sitting alone. Noah hesitated. He had a schedule. He was supposed to be memorizing the Krebs cycle right now, but the thought of returning to his lonely carrel felt suddenly unbearable. Sure, thanks. He sat down, awkwardly arranging his biology binder next to a book open to a vibrant painting of a stormy sea. I'm Adam, by the way. Noah. Nice to officially meet you, Noah. I've seen you in Professor Evans' class. You always look like you're solving a complex math problem during her lectures. Adam's tone was teasing but kind. That's because I am, Noah admitted. Trying to calculate my grade point average after every pop quiz? Adam laughed again. A man after my father's heart. He's an accountant. He'd love you. There was a faint, almost imperceptible sigh after he said it. They fell into a comfortable silence, each working on their own tasks. But every so often, Noah would glance over at Adam's sketchbook. He was adding intricate details to a drawing of the library's staircase, capturing the play of shadow and light with a skill that seemed like magic to Noah. After 20 minutes, Noah let out a frustrated groan, running his hands through his hair. I don't get it. None of this makes sense. Adam looked up. What's the topic? Electron transport chains. It's like reading a different alphabet. Read it to me, Adam said simply. Noah stared at him. Why? I don't know. Sometimes saying things out loud helps. And I definitely won't understand it, so you'll have to explain it like I'm 5. Teaching something is the best way to learn it. It was a crazy idea. But Noah was desperate. So he started, reading the dense jargon-filled paragraph. As predicted, Adam's face was a mask of utter confusion. Okay, stop, Adam said, holding up a hand. So these little electrons, they're like tiny over-caffeinated messengers running a relay race through a membrane? Noah blinked. Well, yeah. Actually, that's a surprisingly good analogy. Adam beamed. See? Art history major. We're good with metaphors. Keep going. And so Noah did. He explained the complex process using Adam's silly relay race analogy. For the first time all night, the concepts started to click into place. Adam listened intently, asking absurd but strangely helpful questions that forced Noah to think about the material in a new way. When the library's closing announcement echoed through the building, Noah was startled. His 2-hour study block had flown by. "I actually understood some of that," Noah said, packing his bag with a new sense of accomplishment. "Told you," Adam said, carefully placing his postcards back into a folder. "Maybe we should make this a regular thing. You can explain cellular respiration, and I can show you why Caravaggio was the ultimate bad boy of the art world." Noah felt a flutter of something warm in his chest. It was a feeling far more pleasant than his usual study-related dread. "I'd like that," he said, hoping he didn't sound too eager. "Same time tomorrow?" Adam shouldered his bag, his hazel eyes catching the light. "It's a date," he said, and then his cheeks flushed a faint pink. "A study date. I mean, a study session." Noah just smiled, the warmth spreading. "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Adam." As he walked back to his dorm through the cool night air, Noah realized he wasn't thinking about biology at all. He was thinking about kind smiles, easy laughter, and the hopeful promise of tomorrow. Chapter 2. The Art of Understanding, 1,000 Words. True to his word, Noah found himself in the basement lounge the next night. A part of him wondered if Adam would actually show up. Maybe the invitation had just been a polite gesture. But as he turned the corner, he saw Adam already there, this time claiming a small table, 2 cups of hot chocolate steaming beside him. "Figured we could upgrade from the floor," Adam said, pushing one of the cups towards Noah. "And caffeine only does so much. Sugar is a better fuel for all-nighters." "Thanks," Noah said, touched by the gesture. He took a sip. It was perfectly sweet and warm. "You didn't have to do this." "I know," Adam shrugged. "But my mom always says you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Or in this case, you make more study buddies with hot chocolate than with—" "Well, nothing," Noah chuckled. "Is that what we are? Study buddies?" The official term is academic compatriots fighting the tyrannical reign of midterms. But study buddies is easier to say. Adam grinned and opened his sketchbook. "All right, Dr. Noah, hit me with some more science. My brain is ready to be confused." Their routine was established. They would work for solid 45-minute blocks, then take a 5-minute break where Adam would show Noah something from his art history text or his own sketchbook. Noah, in turn, would try to explain a scientific concept using the most ridiculous metaphors he could think of. Noah learned that Adam saw the world in lines, light, and stories. He didn't just see an old building on campus. He saw the architect's intention, the history in the bricks, the way the sunset hit the stained glass windows. It was a perspective Noah, who saw the world as a series of problems to be solved and checkboxes to be ticked, found utterly fascinating. During one break, Adam was showing Noah a print of Jacques-Louis David's The Oath of the Horatii, explaining the dramatic tension and the clear moralistic lines of neoclassicism. "It's all about duty and sacrifice for the state," Adam said, his voice taking on a passionate edge it never had during their science sessions. "The father, the state, is the ultimate authority. The sons have to obey, no matter the personal cost." Noah stared at the painting, at the stern father and the resolute sons. A familiar weight settled on his shoulders. "My dad's a cardiologist," he said quietly, the words coming out before he could stop them. "My mom's a pediatrician. The state in my family is a medical degree. It's not really a question of if, but when." Adam was quiet for a moment, studying Noah's face. "And what do you want?" The question was so simple, yet it felt like a bolt of lightning. No one had ever asked him that so directly. His parents, his grandparents, his aunts and uncles, they all just assumed. They praised him for his grades in science, glossed over his A in the one literature class he'd taken, and talked about which medical school he should aim for. I don't know, Noah admitted, the confession feeling both terrifying and liberating. I've never really thought about it. It's just the path. Adam nodded slowly. His usual cheerfulness softened into something more thoughtful and empathetic. I get that. My path is supposed to be business school. My dad and my older brothers are all in finance. Art history is a phrase that causes a full minute of silence at our dinner table. He traced the edge of the print. They think it's a hobby, not a real career. They keep asking what my backup plan is. What is your backup plan? Noah asked. I don't have one, Adam said, a determined glint in his eye. This is it. I'm going to be a curator or an art restorer or something. I have to believe that, you know, or else I'll just end up. He trailed off, but Noah understood. End up like me, Noah thought, on a path chosen by someone else. It was the first real, vulnerable thing they had shared. It wasn't about exams or grades anymore. It was about expectations, family, and the quiet fear of disappointing the people you love. I think what you do is amazing, Noah said, his voice firm. You see things differently. You make me see things differently. That's not a hobby. That's a gift. Adam looked up, surprised, and a slow, genuine smile spread across his face. It was different from his usual quick grins. This one was softer, more real. It made Noah's heart do a funny little flip. Thanks, Noah, he said softly. That means a lot. Coming from a future doctor and all. The library announcement signaled the end of the night. As they packed up, the silence between them was different. It was charged with a new understanding, a connection that went deeper than just two classmates sharing notes. They were two people who had seen a glimpse of the struggle behind the other's smile. Walking out together, their shoulders brushing slightly in the narrow hallway, Noah felt a surge of courage. Hey, are you free on Saturday afternoon? There's a new exhibit at the Campus Art Museum on medical illustrations through history. It's kind of at the intersection of our two worlds. Adam's face lit up. You had me at medical illustrations. That sounds actually really cool. Yeah, I'd love to. It wasn't a study session. It was unmistakably a date. And for the first time, Noah was excited about a path that felt entirely his own. Chapter 3. Between the Lines, 1,000 Words. Saturday arrived, and with it, a nervous energy that felt entirely different from pre-exam jitters. Noah stood in front of his closet, critically assessing his usual wardrobe of sweatshirts and jeans. He finally settled on a dark green sweater his mom had given him last Christmas, one she said brought out the flecks of green in his hazel eyes. He told himself he wasn't trying to impress anyone, he just wanted to look presentable for a museum. When he saw Adam waiting outside the museum steps, his breath caught a little. Adam was wearing a corduroy jacket over a band t-shirt Noah didn't recognize, and he looked effortlessly cool. He waved, his smile bright and immediate. You made it, Adam said. Ready to see some beautifully drawn intestines? Noah laughed, the tension easing. I think I've had my fill of those in textbooks, but I'll try to see them through your eyes. The exhibit was, to Noah's surprise, fascinating. Intricate drawings from centuries past showed the human body with an artist's flourish alongside a scientist's precision. Adam was in his element, leaning close to the glass cases, pointing out the cross-hatching techniques, the use of light to show depth in a muscle fiber, the almost loving detail in a sketch of a human heart. Look at this, Adam whispered, pointing to a 16th century drawing of a brain. They didn't really understand what it did yet, but look at the reverence in the line work. The artist was in awe of this thing, even in its mystery. Noah looked. He usually saw anatomical drawings as pure data. But with Adam's commentary, he began to see the art, the humanity, and the story behind each image. It was the same magic Adam worked in the library, transforming the mundane into something meaningful. After the exhibit, they wandered into a gallery featuring a modern sculpture installation. They were the only ones there, surrounded by abstract shapes of metal and stone. "So," Adam said, leaning against a railing, "the pressure of the Noah family medical dynasty. Does it ever let up?" Noah sighed, leaning next to him. "Not really. Every phone call home is a checklist. How's organic chemistry? Have you started your MCAT prep? Your cousin just got into Johns Hopkins. It's like a constant low-grade hum of expectation." "Do you ever tell them it's not what you want?" "I don't even know if it's not what I want," Noah said, frustrated. "That's the worst part. I like biology. I like helping people. I think I could be a good doctor, but is it my passion? I don't know. I've never been allowed to have any other passion to compare it to." Adam nodded. "The dutiful son. I know that role well. I just play it less successfully." He kicked at the floor lightly. "My dad sat me down last week. Said he could get me an internship at his firm this summer. Get some real-world experience," he said. "See how the real world works." Adam made air quotes, his voice dripping with sarcasm. As if art isn't part of the real world. "What did you say?" Noah asked softly. "I said I had a summer intensive program lined up here, working on a conservation project with one of my professors." Adam looked down at his hands. He just sighed and said, "We'll talk about it," which is code for "I'm disappointed and we will be revisiting this until you cave." "I'm sorry," Noah said. He felt a fierce urge to protect Adam's spirit, his passion, for his chosen field. "That's not fair." "It is what it is," Adam said with a shrug that didn't quite reach his eyes. He turned to look at Noah. "What would you do if there was no one to disappoint?" The question hung in the quiet, air between them. Noah looked at Adam, at his kind, expressive eyes, the faint freckles across his nose, the way he bit his lip when he was waiting for an answer. And in that moment, the answer felt incredibly simple. "Right now," Noah said, his voice barely above a whisper, "I think I'd be right here." Adam's eyes widened slightly. A faint blush crept up his neck. He didn't look away. The moment, stretched, fragile and immense. Noah's heart was pounding. He had never been this direct with anyone, let alone another guy. The risk of misreading the situation, of ruining this newfound friendship, felt terrifyingly high. But then Adam smiled, a small, hopeful thing. "Me too." They didn't say anything else for a minute, just stood there in the quiet gallery, surrounded by art, the unspoken thing between them finally taking shape. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. Finally, Adam broke the silence. "The library tomorrow? We have that art history quiz on Monday. I should probably actually study for it instead of just drawing the statues." "Yeah," Noah said, his voice a little hoarse. "Of course." As they walked out of the museum, the setting sun painting the sky in orange and purple, Noah's hand brushed against Adam's. This time it wasn't an accident, and this time Adam didn't pull away. He gently, tentatively linked his pinky finger with Noah's. It was a small, secret connection, a silent promise held between them for just a few steps before they let go. It was enough. For now, it was more than enough. Chapter 4. The Fear of Falling, 1,000 Words. The dynamic had shifted. The following week's study sessions were filled with a new electric undercurrent. The glances lasted a second too long. The casual compliments, "That was a really smart way to explain that," or "I love how your mind works when you talk about art," felt heavier, more meaningful. Noah found himself living for those late nights. The library basement became their sanctuary, a world away from pre-med expectations and business school debates. Here they could just be Noah and Adam, but the outside world always waited. Noah was on the phone with his mother one evening in his dorm room, and the pressure was particularly intense. And your father was saying, "You really need a 4.0 this semester to be competitive, sweetie. Every point counts. Are you sure all these library sessions are the best use of your time? Wouldn't you be better off studying alone?" Noah's grip tightened on the phone. "I'm actually learning a lot, Mom. Teaching the material to someone else helps me understand it better." It was the truth, but it felt like a lie of omission. He wasn't just teaching. He was connecting. He was feeling things that had nothing to do with glycolysis. "Well, as long as it's productive," she said, her tone doubtful. "Just remember the goal, Noah. Distractions are a luxury you can't afford right now." After he hung up, the word echoed in his mind. Distraction. Was that what Adam was? A beautiful, wonderful distraction from his predetermined future? The thought filled him with a cold dread. He liked Adam, more than liked him. But what was the end game? How did a relationship with an art history major fit into a life mapped out by his parents? The fear of their disapproval, their disappointment, was a cold weight in his stomach. He saw a similar tension in Adam. One night, Adam was quieter than usual, staring blankly at his textbook. "Everything okay?" Noah asked. Adam sighed, closing the book with a definitive thud. "Just got off the phone with my brother. He spent 20 minutes explaining the practical applications of an MBA. He doesn't even know what I'm studying. He just knows. It's not business." He ran a hand through his hair. "Sometimes I feel like I'm screaming into a void, you know? Like they don't even see me. They see this idea of me that they want to mold." "I see you," Noah said, the words coming out more forcefully than he intended. Adam looked up, his eyes searching Noah's face. "Do you?" The question was gentle, but it held a deeper meaning. "Do you see a future with this? With me? Or am I just a break from your real life?" Noah wanted to say yes. He wanted to reach across the table and hold Adam's hand and promise him that he saw everything: his talent, his passion, his kindness. But the fear, that old familiar companion, clamped his mouth shut. He just nodded, unable to find the right words. The distance between them grew by a fraction of an inch, but it felt like a mile. The next night, the tension finally snapped. They were quizzing each other for their upcoming exams. Noah was stressed about his biology practical, and he was short-tempered. "No, Adam, it's not the energy powerhouses. You have to say mitochondria," Noah snapped, immediately regretting his tone. Adam flinched. "Sorry, I can't get the terminology perfect. Not all of us are walking textbooks." "I just need to get this right," Noah said, frustration bleeding into his voice. "This isn't a joke. My entire future depends on these grades." The moment the words were out, he knew he'd made a terrible mistake. Adam's face fell, all the light draining from his eyes. "Right," Adam said quietly, starting to pack his things with a stiff, mechanical motion. "Your future, the important one, the one that actually matters." "Adam, that's not what I meant." "It's exactly what you meant," Adam said, not looking at him. His voice was flat, defeated. "You're just like them, Noah. You think this," he gestured between the two of them and their scattered books, "is a cute little diversion, a study break. But my future, my passion, it's just a joke to you, a hobby." "That is not true," Noah insisted, his heart aching. "You know it's not." "Do I?" Adam finally met his gaze, and the hurt in his eyes was devastating. "Because it sounds like when things get real, when the pressure is on, you retreat right back to what's expected of you. And what's expected of you isn't me." He shouldered his bag. "I think I'm done studying for tonight. Good luck on your practical, Noah. I'm sure you'll ace it." And he walked away, leaving Noah alone in the silent, suffocating basement. Noah wanted to run after him, to explain, to apologize, but his feet felt glued to the floor. The fear held him captive. The fear of what it would mean to choose this, to choose him. The fear of falling away from the safe, predictable path and into something unknown. He sat there for a long time, surrounded by the ghosts of their laughter and shared confessions, feeling more alone than he ever had in his life. He had gotten what he thought he wanted, silence to study, but it felt like a punishment. Chapter 5. The First Step, 1,000 Words. The next 2 days were agony. Noah went through the motions of his classes and studied alone in a lonely carrel on the library's top floor. The silence was deafening. He missed Adam's laugh, his ridiculous analogies, the way he could make the driest material seem interesting. He aced his biology practical. He should have been elated. Instead, he felt nothing. The victory felt hollow without Adam there to share it with. Without Adam's hot chocolate and proud smile, the A+ was just a mark on a page. He realized with a painful clarity that his fear wasn't just about disappointing his parents. It was about himself. He was afraid of wanting something they hadn't chosen for him. He was afraid of wanting Adam, because wanting him meant admitting that his own dreams might be different. It was easier to follow a path already laid out than to blaze his own trail. But staring at that perfect score, he heard Adam's voice, in his head. What would you do if there was no one to disappoint? The answer was immediate and absolute. I would be with him. He had to fix this. He had to be brave. He found out from a classmate that Adam's big art history essay was due that afternoon. Adam would be turning it in at the department office. Noah waited outside, his heart trying to beat its way out of his chest. When Adam finally emerged, he looked tired. His shoulders were slumped, and he didn't smile when he saw Noah. He just stopped, waiting. "Hi," Noah said, his voice shaky. "Hi," Adam replied, his tone neutral. "I am so sorry," Noah blurted out. "What I said was horrible and wrong, and I didn't mean a single word of it. I was stressed and scared, and I took it out on you. There is nothing joke about what you do. You are the most passionate, talented person I have ever met. You see the world in a way I never could, and you've made me see my own world differently. Better." Adam listened, his expression unreadable. Noah took a deep breath, plunging into the deepest water. "My parents, their expectations. It's a part of me. It's a fear I'm still learning to overcome. But you are not a distraction from my future, Adam. I think you might be a part of it. If you'll still have me." He held his breath. The seconds felt like hours. Finally, Adam's stern expression softened. "I handed in my essay today," he said. "It was on Caravaggio." Noah blinked, confused by the non sequitur. "Okay." "He was a revolutionary," Adam continued, taking a step closer. "He took these religious, classical subjects, and he painted them with dirty feet and wrinkled clothes. He made them real. He was told his whole life how art should be, but he had the courage to paint it how he felt it should be." Another step. "It's scary to do your own thing, Noah. I'm scared every day, but I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you." The relief that washed over Noah was so powerful it nearly buckled his knees. "So, you forgive me?" "I'm still a little mad," Adam said, but a small smile was playing on his lips. "But I accept your apology, on one condition. Anything. Stop letting other people write your story." Adam reached out and gently poked Noah's chest, right over his heart. "The author's in there, and I have a feeling he's got some pretty good ideas." Noah let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He grabbed Adam's poking finger and held it. "His first idea is to ask you out on a proper date. No textbooks, no library, just dinner and talking." Adam's smile finally broke through, full and bright and beautiful. "I thought you'd never ask." They stood there for a moment, hands linked, on the steps of the arts building. The world hadn't changed. Noah's parents still had expectations. Adam's family still didn't understand. The struggles were still there. But in that moment, they weren't facing them alone. They were facing them together. Noah felt the weight on his shoulders lighten. It wasn't gone, but it was shared. And that made all the difference. Chapter 6. A New Canvas, 1,000 Words. Their first official date was at a small, family-owned Italian restaurant downtown, far from campus and the looming shadow of exams. The conversation flowed easily, without the anchor of textbooks. They talked about their favorite movies, their most embarrassing childhood memories, their dreams that had nothing to do with their majors. Noah talked about how he secretly loved to bake, a hobby his mother called unproductive. Adam confessed, his dream of one day seeing the Sistine Chapel in person. "We should go," Noah said impulsively, twirling pasta on his fork. "After we graduate, a trip to Italy." Adam's eyes widened. "Really?" "Why not?" Noah said, and he meant it. For the first time, the future felt like a canvas of possibilities, not a pre-printed map. "We can see your frescoes, and I can eat my body weight in gelato. It's a win-win." Adam laughed, the sound music to Noah's ears. "It's a date, a future date." As they walked back to campus under a blanket of stars, their hands found each other naturally, fingers lacing together. It felt right. It felt real. The rest of the semester unfolded in a new rhythm. The study sessions continued, but they were now punctuated by coffee dates, walks in the park, and movie nights in Noah's dorm room. They became experts in each other's worlds. Noah could now identify a Renaissance painting from across a room, and Adam could explain the basics of cellular respiration to a bewildered friend. The struggles with their families didn't magically disappear. Noah still got anxious before calling home, and Adam still got that sad look in his eyes after talking to his dad. But now, they had each other to talk to afterward. They could vent their frustrations and reassure each other that they were on the right path. Their path. One evening, they were back in their spot in the library basement, but they weren't studying. Finals were over. The air, once thick with tension, was now light with the promise of summer. Adam was sketching in his pad, and Noah was content just to watch him, the careful concentration on his face, the way his hand moved with sure, confident strokes. "What are you drawing?" Noah asked softly. Adam smiled and turned the pad around. It was a drawing of Noah, but not as he usually was. He wasn't hunched over a book or looking stressed. He was laughing, his head thrown back, his eyes crinkled with joy. It was how Adam saw him. "It's how you looked when you tried my mom's triple chocolate brownies last week," Adam said, a little shyly. "I wanted to remember it." Noah's throat felt tight. He reached out and took the sketch pad, looking at the drawing with wonder. "It's amazing. You're amazing." "It's easy to draw when the subject is inspiring," Adam replied, his voice soft. Noah put the sketch pad down and took both of Adam's hands in his. "I have to go home for the summer in a few days," he said. It was a reality they'd been avoiding. "I know," Adam said. "And I'll be here, restoring dusty old paintings and missing you." "I'm going to tell them," Noah said, the decision solidifying as he spoke the words. "My parents. I'm going to tell them about you." Adam's eyes grew wide. "Noah, you don't have to. Not if you're not ready." "I don't want to cause—" "I am ready," Noah interrupted, squeezing his hands. "Because this is real. You are real. And I'm not going to hide something this important. I don't know how they'll react, and yeah, I'm scared. But I'm more scared of pretending you don't exist." He took a breath. "I love you, Adam, and that's a part of me now. They need to know me." Tears welled in Adam's eyes. He leaned forward, resting his forehead against Noah's. I love you too, he whispered. And no matter what happens, I'm here. We're in this together. They sat like that for a long time, in their quiet corner of the world, two boys, who had found each other between the lines of textbooks and the pressures of expectation. They had started as classmates and become confidants, and then something more. A team. The future was still uncertain. There would be difficult conversations and challenges ahead, but as they held on to each other, they knew the most important thing. They had accepted themselves and each other. Their love wasn't a distraction from their dreams, it was the foundation that gave them the courage to pursue them. Their late-night study sessions had ended, but their story was just beginning. And it was a story they would write together, one brave, heartwarming chapter at a time.